Hey, what's up, guys? I'm RoberOnocle, or Rob, as most of you know me. I'm here talking about Borderlands with my dad. What's up, Dad?
Hey, what's going on, son?
Well, not much, but yeah, Borderlands. It's something we both like it a lot. Like I'm talking a lot. Like we've been playing it. We discovered it in 2015, and we have been playing it so much. It's a really good game, and it's a. I lost my train of thought, but but I, oh crap. Um, but it's a really good game, and I do feel that like with its type of gameplay that there is a lot to say about it. You just gotta find things to say about it because it's a very pointy and shooty kind of game. So but after doing some thinking, I was able to think up some decent questions. So as always, I always ask the guest the question. So Dad, let's start with the first question. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here. So these are kind of separated, into like they're kind of like questions within questions, but we'll go over them. All right. So, what is your favorite manufacturer? What manufacturer do you think is all right, and what manufacturer do you find to be the worst?
Okay. Well, I would say that one of my favorites would be probably the Vladov, because of the fire rate. Um, as far as what's an all right manufacturer, I've kind of Malawan has kind of grown on me. That legendary sniper rifle that I found
Is that a
was
volcano thing, right? It's
uh
something like that.
yeah, I forget exactly what it was called, but it was just a pretty awesome sniper rifle that I actually carried for quite a few levels. So that one, beforehand, I don't think I really messed with Malawan too much, but discovering that legendary, it was actually pretty good. And then the upgraded Malawan sniper rifle that actually outdid my legendary uh, kind of made me a believer that that was a pretty good gun. Um, and so, yes, what was the best? What was just kind of all right? As far as, and also what was the worst? I would say, as far as the worst, I've noticed that I've stayed away from the TDR guns, and I don't recall initially why I even started avoiding them, if it was fire rate or whatever it was. But I noticed that I've stayed away from those quite a bit, and I've even noticed recently that that you stayed away from them. Also, for me, the Jacobs guns are the ones that I don't particularly care for. I would
Oh,
say probably the most.
okay. Is there any type of like gun class in particular in the Jacobs section that you just don't like at all? Like the one that you refuse to touch it in like any circumstance?
The pistols.
Pistols.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm Yeah, I don't like the fact that you have to just repeatedly squeeze the trigger. I know they say they'll fire as fast as you can squeeze the trigger, but just give me an automatic any day, and I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Right, I like to squeeze the trigger down. And it seemed like somebody said something. Borderlands is my favorite extension of the sun. Okay. All right, he's bringing memes into it. But yeah, yeah, sure. Senята, I hope you really enjoy that Sonic extension. Never tried it myself, I guess. But okay, but that's your opinions on all three. Like the favorite, your what is all right, and what you find to be the worst.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to narrow it down just to like one type for each question, or and sub question, if you will. But yeah, Vladov would probably be the favorite, just because the fire rate, or any gun that has a Vladov barrel, seems to perform really well. And as you know, in the heat of battle, that fire rate is very crucial.
Right, right. Okay, well that's actually that's very reasonable as to why you favor that.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys are pretty interested in what I have to say about these three manufacturers. So for my favorite will probably have to be. I'd probably have to go with Bandit. I'm a bit. I'm kind of having a hard time believing that myself, but I actually do find myself leaning a lot to bandit guns because I do like their high ammo capacity, although they're kind of hard to find in elemental types. Uh-oh, somebody said something. Ever played Borderlands low? Okay. But, like, they don't really come in elemental types, so, I mean, that's kind of a downside. It's kind of hard to find them in that kind of state. But, they're not very good in elemental types, but I do like their huge ammo capacity, and they tend to pack a decent punch, especially the shotguns. Almost every time I see a bandit shotgun, I just have to try it, unless I just know it's garbage. Like a common one. I hate those common shotguns. They're just terrible. But I really, really like myself a bandit weapon. Submachine guns are good. I like the assault rifles, especially the minigun bandit assault rifles, because they pretty much tend to have like a huge amount of ammo, and they shoot fast, and I love them because you can just sit there and hold the trigger down for a long time while you're just losing it. And as for a manufacturer, I think is all right. Oh crap. As for a manufacturer, I think is all right. I would probably have to go with Jacobs, believe it or not. I mean, like, I love the shotguns. The double barrel shotguns, the old classic boom, reload. I love that kind of gun thing, but I just feel it is not very good for combat sometimes because that reload can kill you with the shotguns. Not so much with the pistols and the sniper rifles and the assault rifles. With the shotgun, I feel, well, actually the assault rifle one is kind of slow too, but the shotgun, especially that just bang and reload, I mean, like, it just feels like it's too much of a pause in it. It's paradise if you're Gauge, but, like, otherwise, I just feel it's pretty alright. And then like you said, Dad, the whole, like, you know, fire as fast as you can push the trigger. I mean, you can only shoot it so fast. And if you're somebody who's like me, who in our new playthrough, I'm playing as Salvador, Jacobs kind of go against that code, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think Jacobs is pretty alright. Nice for packing a punch and damage, but it's I'll sometimes check it out, but not really. But as for the manufacturer, I find to be the worst. Although you are very much right that I do avoid TDR guns a decent amount, I find myself avoiding doll weapons more, actually. More specifically, like the well, actually, I don't think there's really nothing in particular. Well, maybe the pistol. I avoid those quite a bit. But, like, I just feel that for their whole gimmick just being accuracy, it's just not enough. I mean, like, the double tap rifles, the one that shoots 2 bullets at a time, they're nice and strong, but with its whole gimmick just being, you know, it's got good accuracy and, like, well, accuracy is really Hyperion, but the fact that it has, like, just decent recoil, I'm like, I just rather stick with something better, you know, like, stick with something with a better gimmick.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
like Hyperion, like, at least with Hyperion, even though its accuracy is horrible at the start of, like, a fire rate, like, it gradually gets better, and you could actually use that in fight for your life. I mean, like, the lack of recoil is nice on, like, doll guns, but, like, I mean, their sniper rifles are great, because, you know, a burst snipe shot is amazing, but, like, I think the vast majority is just kind of mediocre for the most part. I've only found, like, one doll assault rifle that I legitimately liked a lot, but, like, out of, like, the hundreds, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if we clocked, like, 1,000 hours in that game, in that game total, but, like, in all that time I've played it, I've only found, like, one doll assault rifle I found myself really liking, minus the legendary, because legendaries are, like, always good, but, you know, minus that one legendary I found, doll weapons are just really mediocre to me, and I just don't care for them. I mean, when I find I'm sorry, what did you say?
No, I was just gonna agree with your point. Yeah, I've even found that I've stayed away from pretty much most of pretty much all the doll guns.
Right. But yeah, I think for one weapon just being super good in that one, like, that weapon manufacturer type, I just think it's kind of the worst. Like, I do like TDR, but at least you can use the reload power to your advantage. You know, when you throw it, and it has all those bullets in it. But I feel with doll, it's just kind of like, for the most part, it's just there. You know. Right. But I guess we can move on to our next question. We already almost clocked 10 minutes with that first one. All right. So for our next question, this one's a bit related to the last one, but it is pretty different. It is, what determines a bad gun excluding damage for you? Are there any exceptions to your taste in guns? Like, you know, like, if you hate this certain thing about it, but, like, this gun has something about it that's so good that you don't mind it. So yeah, Dad, do you what do you feel is like something that just determines a gun to be bad for you?
And that's a pretty tricky question, especially when you get away from the damage aspect of it, because that is a big factor for me usually when I'm choosing a weapon in this game.
Right.
But I would say for me, one of the big things is like a slow reload. That's kind of a just like a no for me. I can't really stand that. Um, it depends. Sometimes if you know with the right gun you can deal with that, but a slow reload after a while it just kind of gets annoying.
Right.
Um, Also, a slow reload with a small magazine just becomes a pain, and it's kind of like a cruel joke in the game.
Oh,
Uh,
like those bandit rocket launchers that have like they're like really powerful. They have like two shots and like a 10-second reload. So you're just running around
yeah,
for just 10 seconds just putting your next rounds in. Yeah, I hate that.
yeah, those 10-second reloads. I mean, it's just like man, it could be the difference between life or death, so to speak. So yeah, the slow reload and the small magazine, that's just like a horrible combination to me. And I guess my exception, and I have to kind of tap into the damage aspect when it comes to making an exception,
Right.
and that would be the small mag with a powerful gun. So, for instance, the legendary rocket launcher that I found once, the nuke.
That I think it's
Um,
called a nukem. Like Duke Nukem is just a nukem.
yeah, that would be probably my exception, or maybe even a Torque shotgun.
Hmm.
Torque shotguns are known for their power, but a lot of them don't have like large magazines, or if it's like a quadruple barrel or a triple barrel, you only get X amount of shots with it. But because of the damage, you can kind of, you know, uh, find a gun to be a little satisfactory.
Right. Okay, so it's like torch shotguns are the exception to your taste in slow reloads and bad fire rates, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, because usually something about them, and it's usually damage related. Um, but that'll kind of compensate for the lack elsewhere in the gun.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And is that all you have to say about it? Just curious.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I was trying to stay away from the damage aspect, but when it comes to my exceptions, that's actually a factor
Okay.
for me.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking damage more, like in just like what makes a gun bad in a sense for its bad damage, because it'd just be an easy, it'd be a really easy, question with that. Just want to have some further insight, but that's a very interesting perspective on it, though.
Okay. Yeah, I think the biggest crutch for me will be like the slow reload. I mean, I just after a while you're just like, man, okay, I can't take much more of this. And
Right.
then also that small mag, I guess they kind of go hand in hand with me. That small mag is just yeah, again, it's like a cruel joke, and especially when you get into an area where you're fighting like a lot of Goliaths or you know those hard to kill type enemies. 7 bullets just doesn't cut it.
Right. Right. And okay, yeah. So my thing on it, what makes a gun bad to me? Now, although I don't mind if it does get decently low, I do not like having a gun that just has horrible like accuracy. Especially with bandit shotguns, because like their crosshair gets so big and your bullets are just going way out that you're barely dealing any damage, even if it's like a nice chunk of damage. And granted, quadruple barrel shotguns are kind of horrible in accuracy, but I mean one that is just like it's just bad. Like you fire it and like the crosshair just like touches the edges of your screen. I do not like those kinds of guns because I just feel like I cannot hit anything. And another thing, it's actually kind of what you said too. I do not like a gun with a really small magazine because, like you said, like it kind of doesn't help. Especially in a bad situation, like you said, Goliath. So if you're fighting one of those raid bosses like Pyro Pete the Invincible, you don't want to run out of ammo, or at least not quickly while you're fighting him. That's just not a good spot to be in. since
Yeah,
reloading can
absolutely.
mean the difference between life or death. That's why, yeah, that's why Jacob's guns aren't the best for fighting those guys. And granted, Jacob's guns don't have the best capacity and everything, but I mean more stuff like I mentioned, bandit shotguns. I don't like it when those have small shots. Like I shouldn't have a shotgun that has 3 shots and then I have to reload it. I don't like that. It just
Yeah, I
does.
agree with you on that.
Yeah, it just does not feel good. And yeah. So, are there any exceptions to my tastes in guns? Like, as far as accuracy and not fire rate, accuracy and small magazines are concerned. I think with small magazines, if it is I want to say if it's a legendary sniper rifle, which you don't see too many of those, but like a legendary sniper rifle might actually be the exception to that, because the whole sniper rifle's purpose is just blast the crap out of whatever is ahead of you with it. So with the small magazine, I don't have to worry about that too much. Because like if I can know that with a legendary sniper rifle, I don't have to worry about that magazine because I get him in the head. Like I don't have to worry about that what, like 6 bullets in like the mag. I don't have to worry about that because I know that I've got like 6 confirmed kills in like gun. That's why I like it that way. But as far as like any of the legendaries are confirmed, I mean I might or confirmed concerned. I
Mhm.
don't I might just be kind of iffy about them. If a legendary has a crappy magazine or crappy accuracy, I might stick around with it because you can't you can't run into a crappy legendary every once in a while. That it's just not good. You know, albeit that is very rare. But yeah. Oh, there are also some E-Tech guns that have horrible accuracy too, and this might be another thing for bad guns too because totally forgot about E-Techs. As for bad guns with E-Techs, I think the ones I don't like either the ones that have like the super limited range. Like you shoot like 10 feet ahead of yourself and like the plasma ball just dissolves. I do not like that. Cause then like, I know that especially E-Tech submachine guns have a habit of doing this too, where like you have to get really close to them. Like it's not like I have an E-Tech shotgun or anything. I don't want to get this close to the enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I had that E-Tech electric pistol, and that one to me just didn't seem to be a very good gun. I mean, especially for it being an E-Tech. Um, it just seemed like it just didn't do enough damage. And I know that the electric guns are better for depleting enemy shields, but then when you're around a bunch of enemies who don't have them, all right, now how do I get their health down quickly?
Right.
And
It feels
that
really
electric,
irrelevant. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over
yeah.
you.
Oh no, 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 you're fine. That electric E-Tech is just it's kind of like a pretty gun, but it's not really a necessary gun, or it's kind of a waste of a gun.
Right, especially when I think about that E-Tech fire pistol I had, where it functions similar to that electric pistol, where like it shoots on and then it explodes. But like at least with that, there's a lot of flesh enemies in the game, so that E-Tech power actually is put to use. Unlike the electricity, where like it's just more or less a gimmick, and you're probably better off just going to another pistol or another
Oh,
gun
absolutely.
entirely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what I found. And I think at one point I found myself using the E-Tech pistol to deplete shields, and then switching right over to a slag pistol or either a slag assault rifle,
Right.
to finish the job.
Yeah. And I think the another E-Tech that is actually quite useless too, in terms of what terms a bad E-Tech gun really, is the needle ones too. So again with the needles, and instead of electricity, slag. I do not like those because that is like because like with slag weapons they kind of deal okay damage to enemies that are slagged already. But like with a slag E-Tech, not only is it dealing less damage to other slag enemies and stuff like that, but it's slower now. Like why have this one slag weapon where you have to wait for it to explode and then deal the slag? A small explosion have you mind when I can just find this rapid fire save Vlada slag weapon that can just do the job quickly.
Yep, yep, absolutely. And that's actually the kind of pistol that I was using was a Blotto slag pistol, and the fire rate on there I think is like 11.1 or something, like ridiculously fast. So yeah, you're absolutely right on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like that slag pistol that you have that like it slags an enemy in like 2 seconds. Why bother them? We can go. You gotta sit there for like 3 seconds. It's like all right, and then there's like no, that's a waste of time, especially in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode.
Absolutely.
It's just too dangerous to have that gun around. But yeah, is that all? Is that your entire opinion on this second question we have?
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers my viewpoint on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty good on it too. All right, so we can go to the next question. What character do you feel is pointless to the series and should be removed, including DLC? Now we know technically the characters aren't really useless because they do have some point, but I'm just being kind of like, you can just kind of live without them, you know?
Yeah.
Like they could have just put somebody else there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the one person that comes to mind as the pointless character, believe it or not, is Claptrap to me, and maybe because he's more annoying than anything else. And yeah, he kind of gets us started on our journey, but just talks too much, and he doesn't seem to add any real value to our journey. So,
Right.
he just kind of gets in the way. He's just like a moving hurdle, and every time you try to get around him or you get over him, you run down a little ways, and there he is in the way again. So,
Right.
his mouth brings a lot of trouble to you, and he's a character that if they took him out of the game right now, it would be no love lost at all. It's just like, yay, thank you.
I mean, unless you're one of those guys. And I do have to kind of agree with that, too, and everything. I get that him being annoying is a part of the ironic, it's supposed to be, like, ironic. Like, it's supposed to be just like, yeah, he's annoying and everybody hates him, so that's why you should like him. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm just kind of one of the guys that maybe, I don't know, maybe we're just not fun people, but I'm not feeling that. It's annoying, and I have to agree with you that I just kind of rather him just not be there. I mean, he's kind of funny sometimes, but the vast majority of the time I'm just like, would you please stop talking? That's how I am anyway. But the character, I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. Stop talking.
Right. But the character I would actually get rid of, and this is just more of a personal thing really than anything, but like, I kind of don't want Tiny Tina to be around. I know she's one of the more loved characters, and I'm probably going to get some pitchforks sent my way, but I do not care for her as a character. I just I don't like the way she talks. Because if you guys don't know, I'm to a degree, I'm a bit of a grammatical nut, and her vernacular English, her vernacular American, accent and everything, and the way she talks, I'm like, please stop, no. I'm just that kind of guy. I'm like, your grammar and the way you talk is just, it's putting so much pressure on my brain, and I'm losing it. And that's just more of a personal thing. That's that's not, it's not like Dad where he has more of a. It's more of a universal thing with Claptrap, and with Tina, it's just more of a personal thing with me. But yeah, I just didn't really care for her, and she's another character too. Not as bad as Claptrap, but I felt that. When she talked, she just didn't really contribute much either. She was just kind of there to blow up a train, and then she just kind of every other time she's showing up, she's just kind of there. I'm like, okay, and then she's more present in the DLC too. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the character. In case you guys in case you guys didn't know. So yeah. Anyway, that was a good one. You have anything else to say on that, Dad?
Yeah, actually, I really like your point on Tiny Tina, because she's just one that, it's kind of like that one person that who's trying to be cool or talk cool, but everybody that's around knows that this person isn't cool, and it's like she's the only one that can't really see it. And so when you talk about her vernacular and just her bad grammar and all that other stuff, yeah, she's like, it's almost like she's trying to say stuff that's really cool, but it's really out of place. It's just kind of weird. So,
especially for a 13-year-old, she sounds so young. I'm like, cut it out.
Yeah. It's like you just need to slap a piece of tape across her mouth, and then, you can go on with the rest of the game, and she wouldn't be so bad.
Right, because nobody's stopping her.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have to kind of agree with you on that one. I'd have to go Claptrap first,
Yeah,
And then,
definitely. I do. Yeah, I kind of agree with that one.
yeah.
I'm sorry, were you gonna say something else? I didn't mean to.
No, no, that was it. That was it.
Okay. So we can get on to our next question. This one's gonna definitely be a briefer one. Than the one after this one is definitely gonna like take up a lot of time. But this one right here. What is your favorite moment from Borderlands 2? Now this one's definitely more personal than the other questions. But yeah, just your favorite moment. You know, this is a more briefer question.
Okay. There's actually two. You know, as with most of these questions, like I'm kind of wrestling back and forth. Like, okay, I like this, but I also like that.
Right.
But it's still brief though. And the favorite one is when we were playing through, and I was playing as Salvador,
Mm-hmm.
and I punched off Handsome Jack's mask, like right mid sentence. Um, that was probably one of my favorite moments,
That was
just because
amazing.
of oh yeah, just the laugh that we got off of that, and how it just abruptly ended like everything. That would have to be probably one of my favorite moments. The the other one, and it's not quite as big and what have you, but when I played as Krieg and I used the Buzz Axe Rampage, that was pretty awesome because not only because of how fast it did the damage, but also the fact that if you got a kill with while Buzz Axe Rampaging, it would rejuvenate your health, and that was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, so that's more like a more generalized kind of favorite moment, just like the whole thing of Krieg in general, and just moving super fast and axing everybody to death.
Yeah, and but I think the favorite moment would be when I first learned or first experienced him actually doing that, and I'm like,
Oh,
okay, hey, that's pretty cool.
oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, so yeah, those are pretty cool. And my favorite moment, as in just in the game, I would probably have to say now I don't remember exactly when we did, but you know, like when we were still, you know, like starting off early on and everything, we were looking for new guns, and we found that legendary, or not. I don't know what legendary it was, but like when we found our first legendary, I can't remember exactly what it was, but that is definitely a highlight because we were like, oh, what's this? You know, this is new. We haven't seen this golden glow from a gun before. So we pick it up and we're like, oh, it does something really special, you know. And then we got super excited, and then we started hunting them down, and then that's kind of one of our biggest drives in the game now is to just go about and look for some legendaries or even e-techs because we look for those about as much as we do legendaries because e-techs are awesome too.
Absolutely.
Even if their special gun effects is not as wacky as legendaries, but let's be honest, who doesn't want an e-tech and who doesn't want a legendary? They're both really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And if nothing else, if the gun is just garbage, you can always sell it for a good price.
Yeah, no matter what playthrough you're having, it's always like really good, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And as for another, I actually have a second favorite moment too, and it's the one we had more recently. The one where you were just like messing about and you shot off that snowman's head,
Oh
and
yeah.
there was that Mr. Flint's tinderbox in it. Because like we've had all these playthroughs, all these hours clocked in the game. We've never once bothered to shoot off a snowman's head, and the one time you do, there's a good gun in there, a very good gun in there.
Right. And
And
it was an
just
upgrade from the one that you had.
yeah, like yeah, I already had a tinder box, but that one was way better. Like we were just so stunned by that, and I thought that that's got to go down in history, at least in our own personal history. That has to go down there because I love that. That was awesome.
Yes, I have to agree with you on that one.
All right, so let's get to a kind of deep question in this one. What did you feel was a bigger failure in the pre-sequel? Because like we've been talking about two up to this point. So let's talk about it's pre-sequel, the pre-sequel. What did you feel was a bigger failure, the main game or the DLC?
Oh, let me see. I can't remember which this one fell under, but I know the event that we were doing. Um, in the pre-sequel when we had to go inside Claptrap. and I just don't recall if that fell under the DLC or just the main playthrough.
That was the DLC. That was DLC. Going inside a Claptrap. Yeah.
Yeah. So that to me was probably that was just the oddest moment, in that game, I think. And yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's Claptrap related. So anything that tends to stem back to him or tie into Claptrap is just kind of something that we can tend to do without.
Yeah. As everybody knows in this podcast, you are clearly not a fan of him at all. So.
Yeah, Claptrap is kind of a pest. So.
Also, by the way, I know it said the main game or the DLC, but if you want to touch upon the main game, you can do that too. It's fine if you want to touch upon that too.
Okay, yeah. My perspective on the main game is more generalized, I guess, because of the playthrough. But I would say the failure with the main game is that it's kind of weird, but it leaves something to be desired when you go back to Borderland 2. And I think just with the playthrough, some of the things that you can do in the main game, like with the jetpacks or the hovering and all of that, and the ground pounding and everything that you can do, the effectiveness of it makes it leaves something to be desired when you actually go back to Borderlands 2. So it's almost like they give you a bonus in the pre-sequel, and then once you get a taste of something good, then you want that when you go back to the Borderlands 2,
Right. And I'm sorry if I interrupted right here. If it's
no, go ahead.
Okay, but I think I see what you're saying because clearly we both think that Borderlands 2 is much better than the pre-sequel, and it's just kind of the fact that kind of like you were saying, like the pre-sequel almost to a degree feels like a demo. Like it's like, here's Borderlands 2, now let's make it really cool, but we just kind of shook it up. But I don't want to really give out my point really too much, but I think that's kind of what you're saying, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It gives you a taste of something good, and then it's like they just take it away. So the playthrough itself is not terrible, but I do agree that it's not as entertaining as Borderlands 2. And I think having experienced some of the characters in Borderlands 2, say such as Salvador, because I tend to go for that type of a character. I think Wilhelm should have been better than what he was. So looking at it like that, I just think it was it gives you a taste of something good, and then it takes it away. But the main playthrough, it was fun enough, but I just don't think it had as much. It didn't have like the like in Borderlands 2, you have the Headhunter DLC and just different areas and different avenues that you can go down, different missions that you can tackle. I think the pre-sequel was just kind of lacking in that area. And then in the playthrough, I think that just how quickly you could lose oxygen and all of that to me became a little bit of an annoyance.
You could lose oxygen really fast in that game.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. So, that would probably be one of my biggest hang-ups.
Right. Well, it wasn't really that fast, but it was fast enough to where it just became annoying. Like, it's like, oh, now I gotta go run back inside an area, catch my breath, and then go back out again. Like, that just slows down the pace so much.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean to steal your spot. Are you good? Because I don't want to,
Oh yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, yeah, but I didn't really like the air thing. But as for me, guys, I know you're waiting for my position too. So like, in terms of the biggest failure for the pre-sequel to me, it's a bit similar to what my dad just said. It is kind of lackluster compared to 2, because like with 2, you get after you beat the main game, you get Sir Hammerlock's big game hunt, Mr. Torg's campaign of carnage, then it's Tiny Tina's assault on Dragon Keep, and then you got that Captain Scarlet DLC, the pirate DLC. That was, though all of those are, well, the Torg one kind of was okay, but the rest were pretty good. And then you got the Headhunter DLCs, like my dad was saying, like How Marcus Saved Mercenary Day, Mad Moxie's Wedding Day Massacre, and then I forgot what the Halloween one was called, but then like the Ravenous Wattle Gobbler, the Rampage or Revenge of it. I forgot exactly what it was called. And then the Wombomb Island DLC, like all that was really fun. And then another thing I felt that the pre-sequel just did not have enough of was secret chests. Because, you know, like that's one of the biggest things that we hunt for in Borderlands 2 is a secret chest because they contain, excuse me guys, the secret chests, you know, like you look in all these weird spots and you find this chest and like, you know, like, all right, for you searching this stuff out, you get a nice chest, you know, typically contained with, you know, either some good money in it or just a good gun. You know, it's a nice reward, a nice little, you know, nice little hunt, you know, and you feel really satisfied finding it. But like, and I think that's kind of the issue with it too, because the pre-sequel has, you know, like the jetpacks and the zero gravity in a lot of the game. And I think because it was kind of like, since you just have a lot more freedom and everything, we gotta get rid of some chests because it can't be a secret, and that just kind of works against the game. So as a result, you just have less chests to work with, and I just really liked hunting those things down. They're just really fun to do, especially, you know, like, yeah, it just felt like there was just less secrets in the game and it just wasn't as interesting to explore. I mean, you just had a lot of moon, just a lot of Elpis, you know. And it was just wasn't very interesting. And another aspect I feel is the just overall game content, because a lot of that content just, I mean, like, you know, we every once in a while went off to do a side quest, but like when you really break it down, the pre-sequel is just a bunch of dialogue. Like, it's just Borderlands with a lot more chit chat, and I wasn't really a fan of that, because Borderlands should be about running around, dodging like hatchets being thrown at you, shooting up enemies, you know, not this sit in the room for like 2 or 3 minutes and then just like listen like Jack talk. Like, I want to, like, give me a mission briefing, let me go out and execute that mission, and then, you know, like, I just didn't like the amount of standing around in that game. Like, it was just dialogue heavy. It was more for the lore than it was for the game. I felt anyway, compared to Borderlands 2. And let's see, another aspect. Oh, the context of the side quests. They were just, because, you know, Borderlands 2, like, the stuff they gave you was pretty diverse, like the stuff you had to do. And in the pre-sequel, it was just, they were just like, the things they had to do, I mean, like, granted, we're bounty hunters, we'll do whatever to get some cash, but, like, they just did not feel that interesting to me, like, especially with, like, this is probably the most infamous character about it, Springs. Now, I don't want to get too controversial about this, because we're just here to have, like, a nice PG-ish conversation and everything, but, like, I mean, like, some of her side quests are just kind of preachy to her romantic preferences. I'll just keep it at that. And I just kind of wasn't a big fan of that, because I'm like, and granted, you've done some smaller, pettier things, but it's just something I'm not a fan of. I'm like, and it was really preachy about it. And then there was some other characters that were like that too. I'm like, it's supposed to be like, you know, the whole lawless land, everybody ran for themselves. Like, why am I worrying about this? Like, you know, that's just me though. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, Dad. I mean, like, do you kind of feel the same way, or?
Yeah, our viewpoints on that game is pretty much in line with one another, and you know, I think just a lot of that game I tried to erase from my memory, man. It's just
Yeah,
it's very lacking, you know.
Yeah.
Excitement.
I honestly forget it exists sometimes. Like, it
Yeah.
it is kind of forgettable.
Yeah, if you don't go to the title screen and see it, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's that game. So
Right. Oh yeah, and one thing you were mentioning about, like, you know, the perks they gave you in, like, the pre-sequel that just would have felt so much better in Borderlands 2. I'm surprised we didn't mention this yet, but Oxygen Heal. Can we just talk about how awesome that is in the pre-sequel and how I would love to have that in 2?
Oh man, yeah, and we've often said that as we were playing Borderlands 2, and the Oxygen Heal is like the best thing since sliced bread, as they say. You know, as soon as you get down, I can just, you know, hit the button and then you're right back up. If we had that in Borderlands 2, it would make the game just that more amazing,
Right.
especially with the caliber of enemies that we face in Borderlands 2. You
Yeah,
don't
for
always
two
have time to.
players.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. You don't have time to just sit there and try to hold the button, and especially when, it's the same button as the reload. So,
Yeah, so you like, that's actually a problem I've noticed too. Like sometimes we be playing and like, all right, I'm gonna heal you. Oh crap! And you're like, no one in our luck. It'd be like the gun with the slowest reload in our arsenal. Like, oh crap, give me like 5 seconds. Like,
right, right.
and I
I have
hate
that
that.
10-second reload rocket launcher
Right, like,
or
oh no,
something.
dad, no.
But I'm glad, and I think this was something that you found, or you pointed out to me when we first started playing, is that you can actually switch weapons and then kind of regroup and do the revive.
Right, and that is not. Yeah, that's nice. But yeah. So if you guys can tell, the pre-sequel, I mean, it's all right, but for the most part, it just kind of sucks. And I know some people say you shouldn't compare it to Borderlands 2 because it's the next. I'm like, but there's a certain standard that 2 made, and I mean, the pre-sequel did not have to hit every single point that 2 did, because then that would just make it another Borderlands 2. But it just kind of messed up at certain points, and it just felt like it's really upsets me too, because it felt like it could have just been so much better, because it had the right stuff, it just didn't do much with it. You know what I mean, Dad?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like they had all the ingredients, but they didn't mix them in together the right way. Uh, yeah, it could have been a whole lot better. And I agree. You don't want the exact same game that you just got done playing. You want them to be different, but you also want them to be equally entertaining and enjoyable.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just looked at the meme section for a second, but yeah, I do see what you're saying. Yeah. But yeah, pre-sequel was definitely kind of an upsetting game, and it really does kind of hurt me that it just could have been better, but it just wasn't.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
yeah, okay, so that is our opinion on the pre-sequel, and we move on to our final topic for tonight. What do you hope Borderlands 3 will improve in? In regards to the pre-sequel and 2, because that game has to take what both games did wrong and make it better in 3, because it's already been confirmed it's going to be a thing. So there's got to be a certain bar that it's got to hit. And we'll start with you, Dad. What do you hope that the third game will improve in? And this one might not be it might not be as long as the last one, because we haven't seen anything from 3 yet. But what is your thoughts on it, Dad?
Well, okay, I would say that in Borderlands 3, and actually, I think my answers to this question are pretty brief. Um, I hope that Borderlands 3 has no Claptrap. Also, I hope that they have the quick heal like we did in the pre-sequel. The
Yes,
quick
please bring that
revival.
back.
If they bring that, that is almost enough to just sell me on the game. That just by itself. Also, and this is kind of weird, but we can do without a hammerlock as well. Uh, Hammerlock is
He's a bit
cool.
extraneous too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hammerlock is his what's that? His is it his headhunter or whatever that we played?
His
His name
DLC, the one with like
is
Dr. Nakayama.
yeah, that one. That reward is awesome. So that's why Hammerlock can stay. But if they keep Hammerlock, they need to give him a little more speed, because when we had to follow him down that little mountain or whatever down that path, that was like the longest, like 2-3 minutes ever.
Yeah,
You
because they
know,
make you walk
so
so far.
oh man, and he wants to talk the whole way, and I'm like, man, it's bad enough that you're slow, but then you're running slow and you're just talking us to death. So if we keep Hammerlock around, they just need to speed him up a little bit. Also, if I could just add like one thing that I haven't seen too much in either of these games, but maybe the concept would be if they had a gun with heat-seeking rockets. I know we find the homing grenades and things of that nature, but if they had a gun that had like a heat-seeking rocket, bullet, missile, whatever. I think that'll be a pretty cool feature. And one other thing that just kind of popped up, and it kind of actually stems back to the question of who do we find to be a pointless character.
Mm-hmm.
But Borderlands 3 can have no unusually small Timothy in it.
Oh yeah, that. You know what? I have to go with you on that one. I cannot stand that little runt. Like, he is just, and chances are he might not be in it. But with some of the DLC, they kind of make some of that stuff official. Like, Torg's grandma might show up in 3. Like, I almost don't have any doubts about that. Because, Torg's really cool with you, so his grandma might show up too. So I don't know about that unusually small Timothy. I forgot what his exact name was, but it was something like that. I don't know if he's going to show up in 3, but if he didn't show up in it, instantly the best Borderlands game.
Yeah. Maybe he'll stay with Torg's grandma and they can sit and have cookies and tea, and they won't come over to Borderlands 3.
Oh, yeah, I don't want any more 30-minute side quests of me. That's I'm pretty sure they had Grandma Flexington? She probably wrote out the pre-sequel script, just nothing but talking.
Right.
Because dude, I never want to do that side quest again. Just 30 minutes of hearing her talk about that. I'm like, dude, I could be doing something better.
See, the way to do that is, you do that when you have something else to do. And you just start that one, let her talk, and go watch paint dry or go cut the grass or something. Just always do that when you have something else to do that'll take about 30 minutes. And you'll get the benefit, you get the reward of it, but you won't be tortured by listening to her talk about whatever it is she babbles on about.
Right. Oh, and do you have anything else to say about Borderlands 3 regarding what it can improve on?
Right now, that was pretty much it. That was, I think, like the biggest stuff to me. Anything else, I just hope it's a pleasant surprise. Keep the secret chests.
Oh, yes.
Keep the legendary weapons. Maybe make them bigger, better. Or even if they have the Torg vending machines, make it easier to get the Torg tokens. And
I agree with that. I very much agree with that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this: they need to keep Marcus Munitions. They need to keep him.
Oh yeah, I hate him, but he's likable just enough just to stay in the third game. I like him enough so he can stay in the third game because I like some of his quotes. He's a funny guy.
Even in his vending machines, though, his quotes are pretty good.
Yeah. And it gets even better when you play like some of the DLC. So
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love him, and like he's actually one of the much better characters. Like, he's dislikable, but you still love him to be around.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and a comment on the whole thing about the heat-seeking missiles. They could actually probably turn that into a separate manufacturer. I mean, they'd have to, of course, do stuff like nerf the damage, a noticeable amount, so you can't run around like bandit-powered, like rockets, and they're heat-seeking and everything, because you'd just be a unstoppable powerhouse. But it'd be cool. It would be cool to have some heat-seeking rocket launchers, even if you had to like aim down, wait a bit, and then fire it to lock on. Because like taking out like buzzards, I would love that to have heat-seeking rockets so you could take out buzzards, because I hate those things. Or jet loaders. I hate jet loaders even more. But
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that would actually be nice to have a manufacturer that could do that. I mean, like, they would have to make it noticeably weaker, but hey, I'd be down for that. I mean, I barely use rockets anyway, and the heat-seeking, it might be the only way you can probably get me into it, because you know me, I don't touch those a lot, just because they're just kind of your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have on Borderlands 3. Most of my things are just little small preferences, but they're small, but then some of them are kind of big, like the Claptrap thing. So.
Right. All right. And all right, guys. So my position on it, the whole Borderlands 3. For one, I think this would be really nice if they can manage to make more skill trees for characters. I know that's a bit demanding because 3 is already a good amount because they give you some decent options, but if they could add more skill trees, that would make my day. Like, it's just what, because, you know, like, the skill trees, each one, and for every character, they offer so many options of how you want to fight the enemy, and how you like, you know, how you want to fight the enemy, or how you want to approach other things. I love it. And if they get, even if they just add a fourth one for every class, I would praise Gearbox for that. Because it'd just be nice to have a, you know, nice 4 options of how you want to tackle it, and then combining skill trees. Oh, and if they're filling up to it, up the level cap. Like, take it up from 72, take it up to 83. I know that's crazy to ask for, or, you know, take it up even higher. I know that's crazy to ask for, but, you know, being able to just, if they made it a more customizable Borderlands game, I would love it. Like, I really would. And the whole thing. Oh yeah, also, because you know how, like, at the end of, and, you know, well, if you guys are listening to this Borderlands conversation, I'm assuming you should have already played it, but, you know, because you know how at the end of the 2 they mentioned all those extra vaults and everything. You know, like, there's like, oh, there's hundreds and thousands of vaults all over the place. I'm like, okay, so that means gonna be travel. If they're gonna have any kind of space travel, because I doubt it's just gonna be fast travel, because that's just linked to Pandora. If you're gonna have flying spaceships around, please make the controls good. I know that's a basic request, but, like, please make the controls good. I would really like it if the controls were good and not obnoxious. Oh, and if you do have space travel too, make manufacturer parts for the spaceship. I would love that. Like, you know, like, and if you could really customize with that too. I know I'm really big on customization, but, like, if you could have, like, say your spaceship had guns on each side, and you could say have, like, a Vlada on the right and say Bandit on the left. You know, like, you just have, like, two. Granted, that's kind of like gun-zerking, but it's space. You know, or some type of special type of rocket launcher. You know, just stuff like that. It'd be really cool to see that stuff. So rather than just, like, okay, open up the menu, click, 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 blink. All right, we're going to the other place. You know, like, it'd be cool to just, you know, fly to other places and, you know, just see how they go about it.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting point, you know. I think that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. And this is kind of just repeating what you said. They need to bring Oxygen Hill back in some way. Some way they need to bring that back. I know we've already said that, but let's be real here. That is a very helpful thing in the worst of situations.
Oh man, it's very vital.
Yes. And I mean, now some people are probably over there like, haha, you casuals. But, I mean, I hate it when I am getting so close to reviving someone, and then I get dropped. Like, that irritates me to no end. And to have Oxygen Hill, you can just, like, you can sit there for, like, 2 seconds, and, like, they're up. I'm like, yes! I love it.
Right. Right.
So if they bring that back, again, it would be like, it'd be one of the best, definitely. It would really get on my good side. And then, you know, the secret chest and everything. Oh yeah, and a new main villain. He's got to be Handsome Jack good, because, you know, like, Handsome Jack was, like, you didn't like him, but he was the kind of, like, he was so unlikable, he's likable in a sense. You know, like, they did him right. Like, he was very unlikable, and, you know, you kind of enjoy to hate him. Like, he was a villain done right. That's what I like about him. And he was very active. Like, he wasn't just, like, chilling out at... I'm sorry, I just went back to the meme section, and my mom just showed me this Donald Trump meme. I probably just put it up if I make a video of this, I'll just put it up. But, yeah, a new villain. I want to see someone be as good, if not better, than Handsome Jack. And, oh, yeah. And, one more thing before, because we're approaching the hour mark. But one more thing. Make doll weapons good. And Tedior a little better. Please. Make those really good, because they kind of have no point in 2. So, yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about 3. Do you have anything else to say, Dad?
I think that's pretty much it. You know, I guess really the only thing we can do now is wait and see what they offer.
Yeah. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Dad, thank you for coming on here. Oh, and everybody, too, tell my dad happy birthday because it was his birthday today, everything.
Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, thanks, Mark. And if you guys could go in the chat and just say happy birthday, that'd be nice. I mean, you don't have to, but it's his birthday today, so I respect him for that. Or I respect. I mean, okay, I poorly worded that, but but yeah, it's his birthday today, so you can wish it to him. That'd be pretty cool. But
right.
Yeah, that was a very fun discussion. I was glad you were willing to come on here. Oh, and Senora, happy birthday, Papa. But but yeah, that was a very enjoyable discussion. I'm glad you were willing to come on here and talk about a game that we both like a lot, or two. We don't care about the pre-sequel, but two. I was glad we were able to just sit here and talk about that. I'm glad you came on here.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me on, man. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been a blast, man. That's actually like another birthday present to me, man. So yeah, it's been fun, and I look forward to seeing what else Borderlands has to offer us.
Right. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. So yeah, guys, this is our opinion on Borderlands 2. I'm RoberOnocle or Rob, and this is my dad. Happy birthday to him, and we will see you guys next time.
Later.
All right. See you next time.